Hey guys, welcome back again. So today we're going to be reviewing Bon Appetit's 2 flavored ice cream sandwich recipe, and we're going to see how it goes. Alright, let's go start the video out.
Alright, so first off, let's set up our mixer. You're just going to want to attach the paddle attachment to the mixer. Now get yourself half a cup of butter or 1 stick of butter at room temperature. And now we are going to add in some brown sugar, half a cup. I prefer dark brown sugar because it has a more caramel flavor. Half a cup of white sugar. Alright, now you're just going to want to beat the butter mixture for around 4 minutes on medium speed until it's light and fluffy. Now for the ice cream part, you're going to want to freeze a Pyrex container or a metal dish if you have. A 13x9 is preferred. Alright, now we're going to add 1 1/4 cup of flour into a medium-sized large bowl. And then we're going to add 1/4 cup and 3 tablespoons of cocoa powder. Now we are going to add 3/4 teaspoon of salt and ½ teaspoon of baking powder. Give it a quick stir and then clean up the mess that you have. Alright, now we're back with the butter mixture. We're going to crack 1 egg into it and mix it until it's incorporated. Now we're going to add 1 teaspoon of vanilla and mix it for another minute. And finally, the last part of making our dough. We're going to slowly incorporate our dry ingredient with the butter and sugar mixture around 1/3 of a cup at a time at a very low speed so you don't get a big mess. By hand, we're just going to make sure everything from the bottom is fully incorporated. Alright, now you want to pour your dough on a plastic wrap and form it into a square or a rectangle so it's easier for us to roll it out after freezing it for 30 minutes. Okay, now we need 2 pints of ice cream, but if you're using a quart of ice cream, then scoop 4 cups of ice cream out of it. Don't use any cheap brand ice cream because it's not going to form right at the end. Use Haagen-Dazs or something that will actually harden up. This ice cream actually never hardened, so I had to switch off into Haagen-Dazs at the end. Once you scooped up all your ice cream, you're just going to keep on stirring it until it's like a thick batter mix, okay? Alright, now get your frozen Pyrex dish or a 13x9 metal dish and don't put plastic wrap over it. You're going to put it on top later. Just fill up the dish with the ice cream and then put the plastic wrap on top at the end. Alright, now after you're done doing it correctly, you're going to line it up with the plastic wrap once again. And you're going to let this freeze overnight, okay? You're going to need this stiff, okay? Because if it's soft, it's not going to work later. Okay, now we're going to roll our dough. You're going to want to line your table with a piece of parchment paper. Not too big and not too small, okay? At least 16 inches long. Okay, now we have our dough. We're going to unwrap it, and then we are going to lightly flour the surface of the parchment paper and on top. Alright, now we're going to roll our dough into a 16x12 rectangle with about an 1/8 inch thickness. But if you mess up, just reform it into a ball and then chill it for another like 10 minutes and then try again. And as you roll, you're going to have to reapply more flour so it doesn't stick to the rolling pin. Oh yeah, and if your dough gets too soft, then you can just freeze it for about a minute or two. And yeah, I had to use that bougie ruler. Okay, now it's time to make the ice cream sandwich cookies. So you want to cut rectangles at 4 inches by 1.5 inches. Now, if you don't have a perfect rectangle, just cut what you can and then reform into a ball and then roll it out again. That's what I did because my rolling pin's half broken. Okay guys, let me just say, it was really hot today. So you might want to freeze your dough a little bit longer until it's like really hard, because mine was still really soft after I froze it for around 5 minutes. So take your time. Okay, so now I poked holes through the cookie with a fork to give it that good, classic, good humor look. Once you're done poking the holes, bake it at 350 for 10 to 11 minutes. Okay, here's our final product. So I'm just separating them because I rushed it and I tried to squish everything on one tray, but don't do that. So, but they look unique, okay? And that's okay because it's homemade and it's really tasty. After like 5 minutes, remove it and put it onto a wire cooling rack and let it chill for 30 minutes. Alright, here's me trying to pipe the soft ice cream, but don't. So you just use Haagen-Dazs, okay? And then cut it at 4 by 1.5 inch rectangles, just like the cookies. But the cookies are a little bit bigger because of the baking soda, so trust me, it'll be great. Alright, since I had leftover cookie doughs, I restarted basically and made a cookie dough out of that size of a bowl, and I filled it up with some ice cream. I froze it overnight, and then now I'm assembling it. I also froze the cookie dough shells so it won't like melt, and then we're just gonna freeze it for another night after this. Okay, now it's time to remove the ice cream from the bowl. But if you're using Haagen-Dazs, you can just line it up with plastic wrap and remove it very easily because it's so stiff that it'll keep its formation even though you're messing around with it with the plastic wrap. So just use plastic wrap. It'll save your life. Alright, now our ice cream sandwich is finally done. It's been chilling in the freezer for about a day, and look how amazing it is. Now, let's go taste test. Okay, so first off, I baked my cookies at 13 minutes, which was too crunchy. So that's why I told you guys to do it at 11 minutes, because that would be perfect. But look how creamy the ice cream is. I pulled it out of my freezer, let it just sit for 5 minutes, and now the ice cream was very like creamy and nice, not hard. The cookie itself had very nice flavor. The chocolate wasn't too overly powered, and overall the recipe was pretty good. And the saltiness level definitely cut off some of the sweetness of it because it was just very balanced. It wasn't too sweet like some ice cream sandwiches, and it wasn't too salty. It was the perfect combination overall. And you can use any ice cream flavors you want. You could put more ice cream in it if you want. I think this is perfect for me because I'm lactose intolerant. So overall, I'll give it a 7 out of 10 because it was too hot and the dough didn't perform as nicely as I wanted it to.